there, Cancer. Welcome to your mid-July 2023 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. It's kind of like the way I have this positioned, it's easy for me to knock things over. That's why I don't want to do that. Let me see here. Okay. It's interesting, this introspective influence alongside some strong emotions. The heart of the matter is the Magician card, and you see kind of that, I don't know if you call that a vortex or something, and all of that magic dust or whatever that's supposed to represent. But the person is the one who is making things happen. And that to me is what the Magician represents ultimately, is our intentions, that we are impressing upon life. And when I get this card as a central theme, I think either of someone who has done this or who wants to, who is learning that this is how they make things happen, how they, instead of like just wishing on a star, really like being part of that process. And in the past position, we have the Page of Cups, which can be, you see they have like the heart, that hand with the heart, and it's really, to me, it can even be like with having a child, somebody who finds out, let's say that they're pregnant, and it was because it's almost like willing it to happen through their own application of their magical intentions. But also, if you have a relationship that is in the early stages, that can be what the Page of Cups represents. And and another thing too that I think is really important is this idea of being like a child, because the Page of Cups can be a literal child, but it can also be having that kind of innocence. And sometimes when I'm doing specifically like a love reading and I get the Page of Cups, it can be like, oh, watch out that you're not being gullible, that you're not being naive about a certain situation. But I do feel that in some cases it can certainly be about somebody who is open to love. The higher message or the spiritual lesson in this is the Queen of Wands, which is this kind of, what we would call the melding of the water and fire elements. Well, of course, they're very different in a lot of ways, but one thing they have in common is that they're both connected to the emotions. The Queen is the water, which means the intuitive and the creative, from that intuitive place where you're receiving inspiration from above. And the Wands is like that passion, that fire, that is also creative and emotional, but it's emotional like in terms of an ideal that the person is pursuing. So when you combine this, it really can speak about a person who is confident because they are there's an authenticity that we associate with fire that a person can step into, and they can be who they came here to be. And another thing to note is that the magician can connect with the sign of Aries, which is a fire sign. And to me, Aries really exemplifies the idea of authenticity. It's the first sign of the zodiac, so it's like what you see is what you get. No artifice, no pretense. What crosses you is the Six of Swords, and this can be this refusal to go in the direction that is leading you to peace. Now, why would somebody do something like that? Well, there are a couple of reasons. First of all, it's I feel like this reading is suggesting a transition. So you may be someone, let's say that these cards are about somebody who has gotten divorced and now they're starting to feel more confident and more in control of their life, and they have attracted somebody into their life that is very you know compatible with them emotionally, but because they come from a background maybe of trauma or some experience that is more full of drama, they may have a hard time letting go of that because it's familiar. Things that feel peaceful may feel like something they can't trust. By the way, I see that it keeps like zooming in and out. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm sorry if it's distracting. So if you are somebody who maybe came from a relationship that was very tumultuous and now you've met somebody new and it's very peaceful, don't sabotage the relationship because you fear that, oh, this is boring, this person obviously isn't for me. The key is just to get to know somebody better, because according to the Page of Cups, you would be in the early stages of something. And if you, for instance, have conceived a child, or if you have, you're a man who has impregnated a woman, and you are feeling that sense of happiness that this has happened, and yet you are still kind of caught up in something from the past, you have to be able to move on and embrace this, miracle, this change in your life. And again, it's usually going to involve healing. And there are different modalities for healing, obviously. What's coming in is the Seven of Cups, and this can be, if you see the person's expression, it's like choices that a person is making. It can be like about any area of life. But if I use the theme of this reading, I feel like somebody is creating something. So whether it's a child, a job, when I said a job, I mean like a business or something like that, and they've manifested something. They still have choices to make, and they may fear that they don't know. Sometimes if you've been through some kind of major stressful or traumatic situation, you can start to have lack of trust in your own decision-making process. You can second guess yourself. We have here, this is why I picked an additional card, because I have as an outcome, it's probably like a cautionary tale, the Nine of Swords, this idea of anxiety. So you have to be careful that you do not allow any kind of lower nature to cloud what is really beautiful, because these cards on the top are wonderful. So it's like, and this is something I think that is pretty commonplace, where something good happens and then people start to question it. Why, there must be some kind of catch here. I can't possibly have this wonderful situation. And we have to trust that we are having good things for a reason, that, that this isn't a fluke, that this is meant to be. And so I picked an additional card and I got the Hermit. So what it may be saying is that you are going to be spending some time in contemplation, being in solitude, so that you can clear your head and you can make a decision that is best for you, moving forward. And really, though, you're in such a great place because the thing that you're trying to decide about is coming from something good that has come into your life, it looks like, from those top cards. So that's what I have for you, Cancer. I hope that this resonated. Happy birthday to those of you who are born in the month of July. And because that's this reading is for the middle of the month period, and I should be back for a video for the end of the month. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.